radio that I did. I did a little bit of television and some in-person hosting of events and things like that. And it's kind of ironic now that mostly what I do is on my own and I can be in my pajamas if I need to be.
Business on the top, party on the bottom. Yep, I hear you. Yeah, so anyone who is watching from back in the UK, specifically in Scotland, they might remember you from a certain TV show.
It was more local television that I did in Scotland. Oh my goodness, now that's going back. So I did Lanarkshire Live. Did you ever watch that, Megan?
No, I was making more reference to your River City.
Oh yes, River City. Oh yes,
Scotland's answer to Home and Away.
Oh my goodness, that's right. I'd popped up several times in River City. And do you remember S1 Jobs?
Yes.
I was a secretary in an S1 Jobs advert as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you've done a fair bit of TV and radio back in Scotland. Talk to me a bit about how you fell into that, because you started doing accountancy from memory, was it not?
Yeah, that's right. I did do accountancy at uni and started work straight out of uni. I think I was working before I graduated. Those were the days. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of fell a bit out of love with it, and I worked for a major newspaper in Glasgow and always wanted to be on the editorial floor rather than on the accountant's floor, the commercial floor. But in that time, I just didn't really know what to do. I thought, I knew it was creative. I just didn't really know what, and went off and did some nail technician courses and learned to do people's nails, and it was really bad. It took 4 hours, so no one was going to pay for that.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so we've not even really left university, let alone Glasgow at the moment, and we've already had 3 possible careers here. So tell us a bit more about your time in TV, radio, and what role you played.
Well, when I was doing a bit of soul searching to decide what I wanted to do, I love music and I love talking. So I thought, what can I do? Radio, the perfect thing. So I contacted all the local hospital radios and did some work on air in Air Hospital Radio, which is the oldest hospital radio in the UK, actually. And from then I sent my wee demo off to Radio 1.
Oh, I miss Radio 1.
Oh, BBC Radio 1, I know. It was a cassette demo, Megan.
Oh, look, I've got plenty of cassettes from Radio 1 when you used to record the charts on a Sunday. You had to stop when they started talking.
That's right. You didn't want the DJ.
Nah.
And how did I know years later that would be me? You would be cutting out of your recording. So that was the start, really. And then I just made demos and got in touch with my local station, my commercial station, and got my big break. One day, a presenter was too ill to do his show. So it was 8 a.m. on maybe a Tuesday morning, and I got a phone call from the programme coordinator to say, Jen, we need you. Can you be on air in 2 hours? I was like, you don't need to ask me twice. So,
and I've even done my nails.
I know. I wore my heels, and you couldn't see it, but yeah. So that was my break into radio, and then I spent probably 6-7 years in radio in Scotland and said yes to everything, absolutely everything, to get all the experience, and met lots of fabulous people and local heroes, lots of local heroes you get to meet in local radio, the people that listen to you, that come to your events and that really make the show what it is. It's amazing. That's why I got into radio, because I used to love listening to radio. So to be able to do that and, wake people up in the morning was just amazing. Loved it.
I love that. The local heroes, do you have any that are memorable that you can still remember?
Oh, my local heroes. Well, I used to have a little bunch of people that used to come to my road shows. So we used to do road shows. That, obviously, living in Ayr, you've got all the kind of holiday towns all around. So it would be at the seaside, and these people would come to see me rather than the actual acts that would be coming like on the stage and stuff like that, the local performers and singers. But I can't really remember any of their names and things like that. But they did ask for my autograph.
If they're tuning in just now, Jen, they're heartbroken. They're sitting there with a little framed picture of you and you've signed it. So that was a pretty amazing opportunity. So not only are you working behind the scenes in the radio, you're actually out and about as well. And were you gathering stories, or was it mainly sort of just stuff for fun?
Yeah, it was more charity events that I would go out and cover, and sometimes I would do things like school of the week, where you would interview the kids and get a joke out of the kids to play on the radio, which was amazing. But mostly I wasn't a journalist, so it was the light-hearted side of things that I did. But we got involved in Cash for Kids, the charity, which is an amazing charity, and we did a lot for that. And sometimes it could get pretty serious, things like that, and you have to kind of really hold it together. Even though people can't see you on the radio, they can hear your voice, and you're trying to impart this information, and it's so important. But of course, it's important to be real as well about it, and let that come through, and let people know that you're as affected by it as as your listener. You are just the same as them, really.
So it's all very much storytelling, and that's your thing.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about the stories, and at the end of the day, we're all people with families, and we all have such common aspects in all our lives, and it's about finding that in people when you're telling their stories. And do you know what? There's nothing stranger than real life. Really.
Oh, 100%.
You can't make real life up. And when we used to do phone-ins on the radio and ask for people's stories, it was the best ever if you could get a thread going, and people, and as I worked in radio, that's when Facebook really took off, and people would tell you all their stories on the Facebook feed, which was, really, really amazing. And you really got to feel that the people you were talking to really took you into their homes, and they did, into their cars, and you were part of their journey to work every day. It was amazing.
I love that. So I'm going to touch it because obviously this is about personal branding exposed. So I'm very excited about the fact that you have not only built quite a strong personal brand for yourself in Scotland through your radio career and slight TV, because I'm never going to let you forget the River City stuff. But also now over here in Australia, you're a storyteller. You are a copywriter, which essentially you are still telling stories, but more of the written form. So not only have you built up a pretty substantial personal brand for yourself, but you're also helping others to be able to tell their stories as well, because it's hard. It is really hard sometimes to tell those stories. Can you give us some examples of some amazing stories that you've been telling lately for people?
Oh my goodness.
Maybe not, you don't have to name them in case they don't want that, but there's some pretty amazing stories out there.
Yeah, I mean, while I'm thinking about it, what I will say is that a huge part of what I do as a copywriter is to talk to people about their brand and to make them realise what is so different about their brand. They're not just the same as the plumber down the road or the travel agent round the corner. Everyone has a different reason as to why they got into their business and a different passion, and that's what you're trying to bring out in the website and the blogs and things like that. And people really do have different, ways that they are, people's businesses evolve. As people, we evolve, so our businesses evolve, and they're part of it. And somebody I'm going to be working with very soon is a man a business he's a carpenter. We call them joiners in the UK. He's a carpenter, so it's like decking and artisan furniture and things like that, and I'm going to be working on his website copy, and to just hear that brief, you think, oh, okay, quite standard. But then I talk to him and realise he's done degrees and qualifications all about trees and forests and wood cutting, so there's this whole passion behind his products and what he does that is completely unique to him, and it's what we've got to bring out in his website copy, because that's why you're going to choose him to make your deck rather than someone else.
Oh, 100%. If you're a generalist, you charge one price. If you're a specialist, which this guy sounds like he is, then you spend another price. And as soon as someone's built a name around it as well, it's nice to say, oh, this is a Jen sofa, as opposed to it's a sofa from IKEA. It doesn't have the same weight. So
yeah, 100%. And it's I think we all we all assume everyone is the same as ourselves. Does that make sense? You kind of think people are we're all the same, and you think no one will think that's very special or very different, when actually it's the thing that makes you so different, and it's the reason that someone will connect with you and choose your business over someone else's. And nothing's right or wrong. It's just all about what touches you and what appeals to you. You know, and who can say the human psyche is very strange?
Oh, isn't it just? You just need to go to a pub in Glasgow to know it's very strange.
Oh, Northbridge is a close second there, Megan.
Oh, I know, right? I say that, but really, you know, I know you're a keen dancer, but it's more in the gym now than out at the nightclubs. A bit like myself.
Sadly, yes. My dancing days are, well, my Zumba days are it's my nightclub therapy, I call it.
Oh, yeah. Give me some Zumba anytime. I remember when Zumba first started back in Fort William, it was like the best thing. The community centre was packed out.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. If you've been to Fort William, not much happens. So this Zumba class was the highlight of I think we had it 3 times a week. It was packed out. You had to, I can't even remember how you were to book in. It wasn't like nowadays where you've got an app. I think it was if you got into the hall or not, you were in.
That's it, you're in. Your name's down. Come on in, Paige.
100%.
Come away in.
So I think it's really interesting. So you've come from obviously radio and like spoken communications and a bit of it on video as well, because you're obviously very comfortable on behind the screen as well, in front of it as well as behind it. So it's interesting to go to the written form. Do you have a preference? Why written form? Why is that your thing?
Oh goodness, I think it's because it gives me time to think about it, and to really make it that it's memorable, and I think, well, the written form to me lasts forever and ever. If it is written, if it's printed out, it lasts forever, and there's something really special about that to me. Like, I still love a book or a beautiful magazine, that's, you know, to have my words in something like that is just so special, and to think that will be around forever. I know things on the website you can't get rid of and you can't delete if you want to, and they'll be there forever too, but just seems a bit more special, has more impact, I guess, if it's written. But I think one of the things I love to do is write the way I would talk, or write the way you would talk. If I was to be writing the copy for Relevant Megan, it would be in your tone of voice, in your language. And I find that really easy to do, to be able to write the way that we all talk.
Yeah.
Just something I have always been able to do. I can remember being 12 years old in it must have been my English lessons at school. And I wrote, in fact, I was earlier than that, it would have been year 5. And all my stories were about people talking to each other. And no one had learned how to do speech marks. At that point, the teacher hadn't taught that, so she had to take me aside and say, right, Jen, all the stories you write are about people talking. We're going to have to show you how to do your speech marks and your punctuation. And there you go. Everybody hates that, don't they?
Yeah.
So from a very young age, I was talking in my speech.
Oh, that's interesting. I love that. And I think you're on something there with, video is very powerful because it gives someone a 360 of you. They can see you, they can hear you, they can decide whether or not they like you very quickly on that. Whereas the written form, you can really take someone on a journey and a story, and it's really their imagination that will either go with it or not be interested in it. Because I mean, how many books have you read and you go to watch the movie and you're like, that's not right, that's not what I read. And at the same, you know, I know you're not writing fiction, but at the same time you're telling someone's story that a lot of people will start to get some images and some sort of, they'll be imagining things alongside that as well, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, and I think when you do write with the way that you talk, it makes it easier to get the feel of the copy and the feel of the business. I think that it's very easy to tell a formal business to a sort of more casual, laid back, cheeky business just from the copy. And I think you're right. I think people they can conjure up these things in their head when they read it very, very easily, and then it's all about their perception, which is why it's such a challenge as well to write the copy, because you want to make sure that image that these people reading it get is the one that the client wants their customers to get. So
yeah,
that's where the discovery calls come in, and the chat to the clients, and I get my clients to fill in forms to help them to rediscover their brand and think about who they want to work with. So
yeah, talk to me about that process. Like, how do you start pulling that out from someone, what it is that they're trying to get across?
I mean, it's really foreign language to some people, and I'm so in it every day that I just think people understand customer pain points, targeted clientele, customer values. And to some people I work with, that's a real, oh, what do you mean? What you have to think about who I want to work with. And I think you really do have to think about it, because it means your work's more enjoyable for a start if you get to work with people that you want to work with. So you might as well attract those kind of people. So the form that I usually work with, it gets people thinking about their brand. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just all about thinking about your customers, really thinking about who they are, where they live, what age they are, what do they go and see at the movies, what do they turn off from the television, what do they hate, where do they hang out online? If they hang out on Facebook all the time, that's where you're going to target them. If they love Pinterest, that's where you're best to go. And going even deeper than that, going even deeper than the demographics, really looking at their emotions about certain things. And that's hard. That's really hard. Like, well, how do I know? How do I know? But I think if it's your business and you're making the product or the service, then you know the problems you're solving. So you can kind of start to build up a picture of your customer. And also, what I ask a lot of my clients to do is to look at feedback they've received through their testimonials and their case studies, emails customers have sent them, Facebook groups, to find out what the customers are saying, what language do they use, and that's, the customers are telling you what they think for free. So it's like, great.
Take it.
Yeah, take it. You can get anything for free in this life.
Oh my God, you're so right. The client avatar is the most important part. And I think, it doesn't matter what part of marketing you do. Obviously, you're doing the written form. We've got lots of friends that do video, and they do podcasts and YouTube, and on the digital stuff, the in-person stuff. I do the personal branding stuff. All of us start with that same question. Who is it that we're actually talking
to?
Yeah, and that seems to be a big part missing from a lot of people's business, because I come up against it every single time, and I'm sure you do as well. Who can you help? Oh, well, I can help this person and that person. So basically you can help everyone. And I know in reality a lot of us can, a lot of our services and products can help everyone, but you can't talk to everyone. So you have to pick who it is that you're going to start speaking to and helping first.
Yeah. And I think if you show yourself to be an absolute expert in one niche, then people are attracted to that, even out with your niche, because you've nailed your niche, and you're serving people so well that your brand's everywhere and you're being commented on everywhere. And then other customers go, oh, it's not really my business. It's not really exactly what I would usually want, but I want a bit of that. I want a bit of that brand because I love it.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can go wrong by narrowing down who you want to work with. I think it has the opposite effect, actually, in the long term. Building your brand and getting really good at one particular aspect of what you do, or one particular niche, getting really superstar status at that, and then if you build it, they will come.
100%. I mean, I always think of the doctors, the GPs and the specialists, like, which do you want to be? And you can be the GP if that's what you want, but you're just always going to float at that certain level. If you want to actually be the first person that someone thinks of when they're talking about your industry, then you've obviously got a niche down. So I love this, Jen. I've actually got one of your forms sitting on my desk at the moment, because Jen's going to be doing my about page and helping me with some written form, because this is a really hard process. It's a really hard process for, yes, I'm going to blame you, but it is a hard process for people because it's so close to you.
Yeah.
And we don't like to say what's really happening because we don't want to look like we're egotistic. We don't want to look like we're showing off, when there's a lot of things that actually go in a good about page that aren't like that. They're not showy. They're literally things you've forgotten about or things you didn't realize were actually that important. Then someone like Jen comes along and sort of pulls it out of you and then makes it look beautiful.
Yeah, and that's it. It's all about, I think that's a really good way for people to work with a copywriter, because we're going to blow your trumpet. You're not doing it. So, you're not going to be vulnerable. You're not out there. It's us that are out there for you. So you can kind of go, sorry, I didn't write it. It was a copywriter, and then we can be absolutely objective. Whereas I think even I can't write my own copy for my website.
It's too personal. It's too close to you.
I can. But that's really frustrating as well, because you think, I should be able to do it. It's like a hairdresser, they can't cut their own hair. So
brain surgeon can't do surgery on their own brain either.
That was a slightly more vivid example,
but it's true. We're all too close to things. It's the same with most personal trainers also have trainers. I have coaches. Just because I coach people doesn't mean I don't need coaching. It's a complete evolution on a complete circle that we all need help, because if we're all perfect, then what's the point?
What a boring life it would be.
I mean, we're pretty close, but
you just have to look at the television credits and the movie credits between us.
My name's not even up there, though. That's the thing.
Oh, goodness. That's for another story.
Yeah, not for tonight. So Jen does an amazing job of writing people's stories, whether that's your about page or if it's copy for any other page on your website, but also you do advertorials and you do social media posts if they need the written content and stuff like that as well.
Yep, I can do social media and blogs. I do a lot of blogs, which I really enjoy, because you can really,
get right into it.
One aspect, and you can really let the personality come out in a blog. We have blogs that are our favourites that we've read, that they make us smile, and and at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to be entertained, and you're trying to get an emotion out of people when you write your copy, and entertainment is a huge part of it. It's there to inform, but it's also there to entertain. So blogs are great fun. You can do blogs.
So your favorite part of writing is definitely writing like from the person, as opposed to writing copy for annual reports and books and stuff like that?
I would say so. I love to help businesses differentiate themselves, and I think that you can do that whether the business is a sole trader or whether it's a multinational. You can really easily do that, and it's all about talking to the people in the business, because the business is all about the people, and people do business with people.
100%.
And to really differentiate that and make it stand out. There's so much boring content on the web. I don't know about you, but I just think there's so much out there that I just think, well, that's just not, it's maybe informative, and okay, some websites need to be basically informative, but nothing wrong with a little bit of fun in there as well,
100%. I think LinkedIn's really missing that, because the articles that you can put on there, they're essentially the exact same format as what you can put onto a website. LinkedIn has a much higher authority than your website probably ever will, unless you're a multinational. So, you can leverage having those keywords and actually getting found a lot easier. But also, there's not a lot of great content, like written long form content on LinkedIn. It's very kind of stiff still. Whereas, LinkedIn isn't a CV. It's a place where you can actually build your personal brand and start showing people who you are. And you've got so many different ways to do that. You've got pictures, you've got video, things like what we're doing right now, and you've also got the written form, which we know that most people, even if they're watching us or listening to us just now, they probably aren't listening. They're probably, scooting through it and reading the comments, or they're waiting for the subtitles, and it's the version with the subtitles that goes up that will get the most views, because think about where we're using our phones most of the time.
That's right. It's with the sound off, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah. No, I think there's a huge opportunity on LinkedIn, absolutely massive opportunity on LinkedIn for everyone to write articles and, like you say, use those keywords, but have your personality shine through and have opinions. I think people need to have opinions, obviously respectful opinions, and qualify them. But don't be afraid to piss off some people, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be your target market, you know. And that's fine. You know, that's okay. About 2.5 years ago now, I was asked to ghostwrite some articles on LinkedIn in exactly this way that we're talking about. And it was such fun to write, because it was real strong points of view I was getting to put out there, and real casual language, real imagery. And it was awesome to be able to do that on LinkedIn. And there's not been much more of it that I have seen, so I would love to do more of that, definitely. Obviously,
all right,
I can't tell you who
everyone
it was.
on everyone on LinkedIn just now listening to this, if you're needing any writing done and you're not quite sure how to put pen to paper, Jen can do that for you.
I would love to help, and even just get you started. I think you just need to start. People just need to start writing, write a headings down, and just go. You can't edit a blank page, Megan.
Oh, so true. My blank pages are much better than my ones with words, though, because I can't spell for shit, to be honest. I'm like typo central, you know, that it's actually quite hard, because sometimes spell check doesn't even know what it is I'm trying to say.
They've not invented that yet.
No, and Grammarly just loves to like red mark me.
We won't talk about the Hemingway index then.
No, it's not fun for me at all. So I'm not the best writer. Anything you see that I've written is very much written how you were saying before. It's as if I'm speaking it. That's the level of my writing. And my poor friend Leslie, she's an amazing writer, and she just reads my stuff and it's like, did you mean to say that? And I'm like, well, I meant whatever you think that meant.
Yes.
Yes, no. People don't work with me for my writing, that's for sure.
You've got to play to your strengths.
100%. 100%.
Take off the writing hat. Yeah, you can put your personal branding hat on.
Well, that's why I work with awesome people like you, Jen.
Oh, the pressure.
No, but it is, you know, because I work with amazing clients that have great stories to tell, and I extract the stories from them, and I work with how we're going to position them, and you write the amazing content that goes behind or in front of that. So it's teamwork. I love it.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, that's the one. So anyone who's watching, listening, or waiting patiently for the captions to come up because two Scottish girls are talking way too fast for them, how can people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch through my website. It's jenmcginlaywriter.com.
Do you want to spell that out?
JenMcGinlay.
Excellent.
writer.com. Yep. I'm Jen McGinlay Media on Facebook. You can find me there. And my home phone number is... No, I'm only joking.
I was like, I'm going to have to press stop here.
My email address, oh no, that's too complicated. Let's not go there with my email address.
So basically we can get you on your website. Facebook and Instagram's pretty good. You're pretty active on Instagram.
Yeah, Miss Jen Writer. Yep.
Miss Jen Writer. So I'll put all of those contacts into the show notes for people, and they can. The show notes. I know, how fancy are you? You've got your own show notes, Jen.
So glam.
This is your credits. This is your new credits.
I love it. That's how every Tuesday night should be.
Oh, I know, right? Well, actually, Jen, what is it you're drinking just now?
I've actually got a West Winds.
Ooh, a nice local.
Soda, actually, tonight. Soda and fresh lime.
Oh, very nice. I like that. Jen is another gin fiend like myself.
Jen, it's no secret, and it's no coincidence either.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, Jen. And anyone who wants to get in touch with Jen, check out the show notes, or if you heard earlier and you remember how to spell her name, check her out. Miss Google will be able to help you if you're struggling.
There's only one of me.
There's only one of you. Thanks so much, Jen.
Cheers.